Hello, everybody. We are so excited for this morning's webinar. Thank you so much for joining with us and thank you so much for your patience. There's a few technical issues with Zoom, but we are back and we are ready to go and we are so excited. In a minute, we will be bringing in our very special guest from Antarctica. Just before we get going, just a few things to make you aware of. The session is being recorded and we will send it to you after the session. So if you want to watch anything again, you can do. We have got some pre-recorded, pre-asked questions which we'll be asking our special guest later on in the session. But please also use the chat if you have any questions. We are expecting around 5,000 schools joining us today. So there will be a lot of you here, so we won't be able to get through all of your questions. But without further ado, I'm going to hand you over to Jenny from the 2041 Schools Charity.
Oh, good morning, everybody. Thank you so much, Katie. I'm Jenny Cook and I run the 2041 School Charity with our very special guest, Robert Swan. It is absolutely amazing to see so many of you this morning. I genuinely cannot believe it. It's so exciting. And today is really, really special because you are all making part of history. This is the first ever live assembly from Union Glacier in Antarctica. And to celebrate this, we are going to be emailing your teachers a very special certificate to say well done for taking part. Now, I'm not in Antarctica today. It might look like it from my background, but that's really a photo. I'm actually somewhere a little bit warmer because I live in Windsor. But I have been to Antarctica twice with Rob Swan. And whilst I was there, I made films for young children like you to learn more about this very special frozen continent. Now, Rob Swan is an incredibly famous polar explorer. And wait for it, he's been to Antarctica over 40 times. Can you believe it? And right now, I can't really believe I'm saying this. He is in a tent in Antarctica at a place called Union Glacier Field Camp. And that is 600 miles away from the South Pole. So I expect he's a little bit chilly. Now, before he joins us, we're going to watch a short film so you can learn a little bit more about him.
Robert Swan can claim a polar first. He was the first person in history to walk to both the North and the South Pole. In January 1986, inspired by Captain Scott, Rob and his team not only walked to the South Pole, but they did it without any help from outside, not even over the radio. They also pulled their own sledges. Each sledge weighed 160 kilograms. That's heavier than two grown-up men. Imagine pulling two grown-ups on a sledge along the ice for 70 days and for hundreds of kilometers.
3 years later, Rob and his team of 8 people from 7 countries made their ice walk to the North Pole, which is when Rob claimed his polar first. By now you'll be realising that Robert Swan does not always like to do the things the easy way, even in a hard place. So in 2017, he and his son Barney set off on the South Pole Energy Challenge, powered only by renewable energy, so no coal or gas or oil. Halfway through the journey across Antarctica, Rob had to turn back due to a hip injury. Barney continued on and made it to the South Pole, powered only by renewable energy. Robert Swan is not one to give up. He tried to complete the final part of the journey in 2020, but had to turn back again with another hip injury.
I'm delighted to say that Rob and his team successfully made it to the South Pole on the 11th of January 2024. Rob had achieved his dream of crossing the entire Antarctic landmass.
Robert Swan is the ultimate polar explorer. Strong, brave, and determined.
Gosh, isn't Rob a resilient and fascinating man? Are you ready to meet him? Let's bring him in live from Antarctica. Good morning, Rob.
Good morning to everybody. This is Rob speaking from the ice station in Antarctica. It is wonderful that everybody is on the call after a few technical problems, but we never ever give up, as you heard from that little video now. I'm in Antarctica with my small team. You can see Charlotte sitting next to me, and Ollie is here. He is our cameraman and director, and we're in a very cold tent, literally very early in the morning for us. It's, I think, about 6:30 a.m., but it's really good. And why are we here? Well, we're here because Antarctica is the only place in the world that we all own. No one owns Antarctica. We do. So we need to make sure that we leave this beautiful continent alone forever for the penguins, for the seals, for the whales, and we just must do that. And what's great about what's happening is that we have the 2041 school program, which I hope all of you will be participating in, and teachers, please use it. As Jenny says, it's all free. Would you like to see where we are? I'm not too sure whether you do. Do they really want to see where we are? I'm not too sure. Well, maybe. Yes, I think you'd like to see where we are. So I'm going to hand the camera over to Charlotte and Ollie, and you can see where we are. Now, Ollie's outside the tent. It's cold. I hope his fingers don't get too cold. And he's going to show you where we are at Union Glacier. And I know it's hard to imagine, everybody, but it's always daylight in the Antarctic in the summer. The sun never goes down. And our little ice station that you can see runs only on renewable energy. I think Ollie might be showing you now our solar panel. So our battery and everything that is happening this morning is running only on clean, renewable energy. We need to use as much clean, renewable energy in our lives. But how about that for a view, team? It's pretty amazing, isn't it? And remember, it's untouched. There's no one here except our little team. And we need to keep Antarctica clean and tidy forever. And I hope you're all feeling a little bit cool watching this, because even my fingers are a bit cold right now. Now, Charlotte's bringing the camera back in. Great job, Charlotte. And there we are, back at base. And before I forget, I want to introduce you to somebody who is a very, very famous teddy bear. Here is Teddy. Teddy is the first teddy in history to have gone to the South Pole and the North Pole in my pocket, and he helped me make those journeys. He looks a bit rough. He's gone through tough times just like me, but Teddy is a fantastic and very important friend of mine, and he's joining us all today in the Antarctic. So that's why we're here. This is what we're doing. We must preserve Antarctica and leave it clean and tidy. So, Jenny, I'm going to throw this back to you right now. You're in charge.
No problem. I've got some questions I'm going to ask you, but there's a really good question that's just come in on the chat, actually, from Barton Primary School. And they're asking, how cold is it in your tent?
Well, in the tent, it's a little bit warmer. It's about -20 outside the tent. And that's why when Charlotte handed me the laptop back, the laptop was freezing cold, and I can see Ollie warming his fingers up because he was outside. But we're all nice and snug in our tent. We've got great clothing that we wear to keep us warm, but it's very cold out there. And if it starts to blow, if the wind starts to go, we will have what's called wind chill factor. So -20 then can very quickly go to minus 22, minus 25, minus 30, and that would be on your skin. So as I'm sitting here, my fingers, I have to say, are freezing cold.
Well, a lot of children are now saying that they hope you're warm enough when you go to sleep at night. And actually, a really good question that someone has just asked us is, how do you sleep at night when it's sunlight all the time?
Well, when it's sunlight all the time, you can wake up and think, it's morning, it's time to get up. But it's not. So it could be 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning and the sun's still shining. So what you do is you sleep inside a huge, warm sleeping bag. And you get inside that sleeping bag and you put your earplugs in, because sometimes the wind's blowing and the tent's going like this. And then you cover your face over with the sleeping bag. And sometimes I get a hat or something and I put the hat across my eyes like this. Or some people wear a sleeping mask, a little sort of eye mask. But it is a shock when you've been deep, deep, deep sleep just for an hour or so and you wake up and it's light. And you think, well, I better get up. But no, you don't. So nice and warm in a sleeping bag, mask on your eyes, and off you go to sleep.
Right. Now, we have had hundreds of questions, as you can imagine, sent to us before this special Zoom call. And myself and Katie have actually chosen 3 of our favourites. So we'll run through those now. And then if we've got some more time, we'll answer some more questions on the chat. The first one comes from Grace. Now, she's 9 from St. Bede's Primary School. And it's a brilliant question. She asks, Rob, you've had incredible expedition experiences. Can you share a moment that has inspired you and taught you about resilience?
Well, imagine this, Grace. I'm walking to the South Pole. It's minus 44. And I remember the temperature very clearly. And I fall over. And my hip, you all know where your hips are, came out. It came out of its socket. And my leg was just useless. And I couldn't stand up. And I was left lying in the snow, very upset. And at that moment, my son, Barney, who was with me, we were thinking, well, we'll all go back home, back to the base. And he said, no. I'm going to carry on, Dad. Let's get you out, but I am going to carry on. And he was only 23, and he carried on to the South Pole for the team. And that's what life's about. It's all about teams. And that was an amazing moment of resilience and bravery, not by me, but by my son, Barney.
That is a really great example of resilience. Thank you so much, Rob. The next question is, it's come from Year 6 at Upton Primary School. They say, what makes Antarctica so unique and why does it need protecting now more than ever?
Well, Antarctica, as I said right at the beginning, is the only place we all own. So if you think about it, students, young people, if you divide the whole population of our world, all of us, all 8 billion of us, into the area of Antarctica, which is about twice the size of Australia, you end up with you being responsible, all of you listening, even in Kenya today, people are listening to us. Hi, Kenya. That basically we are responsible for an area about the size of your local football pitch. So we all own it. And what's important about Antarctica is it's a place for science and for peace. And young people, you've seen so many people in the world don't like each other and they're fighting and they get cross and we have wars. And it's very important we have one place which is always for peace and for science and to look after the penguins and the seals and all the wildlife and just leave it alone, just like a big, huge national park. However, all of us in the world are asking questions now about climate change and are we affecting our world and how much are we affecting our world? And Antarctica in the ice caps, and remember, think about this, we are sitting, Charlotte, myself and Ollie today are sitting on 4,000 meters of ice. So there's a lot of ice here, and scientists can drill down into that ice and they can find out lots and lots of amazing scientific information that can help us understand the way we've affected our climate and what we're doing to our world. So it's a really important place for science, for peace, and it's important that we just leave it alone. And we don't want to melt it either. So if we have too much energy in the real world back home, we all need to think about not melting Antarctica too, because remember, it's made of ice.
Absolutely. And actually, on the topic of climate change, this leads us into my next question, which actually only came through a couple of days ago. And I thought it was so good, I picked it out. And it's from the children at Northern Primary School. And they ask, how much warmer is Antarctica now than when you first visited it?
Well, our team, Ollie, myself, and Charlotte, have been here a few days getting things ready for our team. And our main team, another 8 people from all over the world, arrived yesterday. And I have to say, I think they thought they'd arrived onto a beach in the middle of summer. It was only about -5 degrees, and it should have been colder. So in my life, coming to Antarctica for 40 years, I know that's a long time, I've noticed how climate has changed here in Antarctica, and even the snow itself, children, has started to change. When you're walking across it, it feels different, it looks different. So yes, even though it's still cold, even at the South Pole, where the average temperature in a year is -56, think of that, that's chilly, even there we see a change in climate. So if we're changing the climate in Antarctica, we need to think about what we're all doing with our energy and look after our world more.
That's a fantastic answer. Thank you. I think the children at Northern Primary School will be thrilled with that. Now, I'm glad you can't see it, Rob, because we've got literally thousands of questions coming in and it would be very distracting for you. But I've picked out a few of my favorite as they're coming in. So we're going to do some quick fire questions before my final question to you. And the first one I think is really brilliant. It is, how do you get internet in Antarctica? How are you managing to join us by Zoom?
Well, when we walked to the South Pole 40 years ago, we had no communication at all, nothing. And what we've done here, we've set up our little ice station all together as a team. And outside we have this amazing, looks like a piece of wood actually, that's white. And that's called Starlink. And that goes up to the satellites and bounces back. And I can't believe that I'm speaking to all these schools around the world, especially in the UK, just through this piece of wood, it looks like, up to the satellites. And that's amazing, incredible technology. And I think that's a really good piece of technology. And I'm really, really happy to be using it for the first time. And please remember, this has never happened before. So with technology, you're seeing us in Antarctica at your schools for the first time ever, which I think is amazing.
It is absolutely incredible. The next question is a very lovely question. It's, how old is Teddy?
Teddy is 42 years old, exactly.
I
42 years old.
And I love the name. I love Teddy. So that's a great name.
Teddy.
Where is he?
Teddy.
Let's all give Teddy a wave, everybody. Hi, Teddy.
And he's back in action.
Certificate. I think that would be really sweet. Another question is, how did you get to Union Glacier, Rob?
Well, that's you can get to Antarctica, and as you've done, Jenny, with us, and made great educational programs with your daughter Olive and husband Simon and Ollie, our brilliant cameraman. We sometimes come by ship. But this time, we've come right to the middle of Antarctica, the heart of Antarctica. So we came in on an aeroplane and we landed on the ice, which makes you a little bit nervous because there's no airport. And you land on this big stretch of ice. So we came in on an aeroplane, and we always think, which all of us must, we came by an aeroplane, and that aeroplane produces carbon and pollution. So we've made sure that we've cleaned up all of our activities by planting trees with my son Barney in a really hot place, the rainforest in the far north of Australia. So one always must think, when you travel, it creates pollution. Are we cleaning it up? So this time we came by plane, by aeroplane.
It is very slippery when you land on the ice. It is an amazing experience. A very quick question, because there are so many questions coming through about animals. Rob, are penguins friendly?
Penguins are so friendly, it's unbelievable. I'll tell you why. Because they're not frightened of people. They don't know how silly we can be and how silly grown-ups have been to them. So if you sit really, really still, got to be very still, no messing around, no blinking, no twitching of your nose, nothing. If you sit really, really still, a penguin will actually walk up and have a look at you. And obviously you can't touch penguins, you can't interfere with them, but they're not frightened at all of people, which is lovely, isn't it? That a species on Earth isn't frightened of people. I love that about penguins. And penguins actually are really funny too. They've all got characters. Some misbehave, some are very quiet, some are completely out of control, and they're all different characters. I love penguins. They're great.
No, they really are great. There's another question that's come in, and I'm going to combine this question with the last question I was going to ask you. Why is it called the 2041 school? And then the next question will come in from Phoenix class 4G, and they said, Rob, you want every child here to become champions of Antarctica. What does that mean, and what can we do right now to get started?
Well, in 2041, everybody, because my maths is terrible, really bad, but I want you to think how old you are now. You might be 5, you could be 8, you could be 11. I don't know how old you are. But add 15 to that age. So how old are you going to be in 2041? Have a little think about that. Because in 2041, 15 years coming up, 16 at the moment, but 15 years from now, the world, you, all of you, have got to remember speaking to the Iceman in Antarctica and Teddy, because in 2041, the world, all the governments in the world, all the leaders in the world, and you are going to decide that we're going to leave Antarctica alone forever, for science and peace and for our wildlife. So what 2041 School is a fantastic educational program made by Jenny and her family and Ollie, who's here with me now. And it's free, by the way, so you can watch it. It's great, absolutely tip-top, great stuff. So we challenge you to do two things. Young people, to become champions of the Antarctic. I am. Teddy is a champion of the Antarctic. Charlotte is a champion of Antarctica. So please join us to be champions of the Antarctic. Watch please, teachers, please organise. Teachers are always organised. Please watch and use the fantastic 2041 School education series. And most importantly, just remember today, because this has never happened before. So it's very special. Please tell your parents that you spoke to the ice people in Antarctica today. They'll probably say, what? Really? So tell them what we talked about and everything else. So it's absolutely tip top. And before we go, I want to thank Katie from Picture News. Katie, you put all this together. We had a little bit of a extra heartbeat this morning when we had a bit of a technical problem, which wasn't our fault. I want to thank Jenny and so many people around the world. A great chap called James Vaness, who's helped us in many, many schools. This is a team effort, and my team here, our team here, this is just very, very special. And I want to thank you, the teachers, for all joining us in Antarctica today. It's fantastic. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you so much, Rob. I think you really have inspired every single child on this call to become champions of Antarctica. And the final question was from a little girl, will you be home for Christmas?
Well, we're going to be home for Christmas, but if we weren't home for Christmas, we would definitely, without a doubt, have a white Christmas here at the ice station. That's definite.
That it would be definite. Thank you so much, Rob. We're going to let you go and get a warm drink so you can just warm up a little bit. But thank you so much for joining us today. It's been incredibly special. Thank you so much.
Well done, team. And thanks again to everybody. And bye bye. See you all soon. Bye.
Bye. Now, as Rob goes from Antarctica, wait for it. I can't believe I'm saying this again. I've got another special surprise for you all. We've heard from Rob about why Antarctica is special and why it needs protecting. And we obviously would love all of you to become champions of Antarctica. But now it's actually time to hear from Antarctica herself. Now, Antarctica is called the Great White Queen. And she has a very, very important message for you all.
If you travel south, as far south as you can go, you will find me, the land of ice and snow. As you travel towards me, can you see the enormous sky, the wind-carved scoops, and the mountains peeking through the ice sheet? On my icy shell, can you see the sharp crevasses? The bubbles of ancient air, and the shadows from endless sun. Those are my sights, the epic landscapes. I am that Antarctica. Deep in my frozen heart, can you hear the wind howling, the ice creaking, and the vast, empty silence? Around my edges, can you hear the cold waves crashing, the whales blowing and the penguins chattering? Those are my sounds, the emptiness and the life. I am their Antarctica. I am the coldest, driest, windiest continent on Earth. I've been this way since long before anyone even knew I existed. But as the Earth heats up, so do I. My snow and ice are starting to melt. My glaciers are getting smaller. My frozen magic is slipping away. But it doesn't have to be this way. You can help protect me. You can remember me. You can remember to turn things off when you aren't using them. You can remember to ask to walk or cycle instead of going by car. You can remember to look after your clothes and toys so you don't need so many new ones. These are small things, but if everyone remembers to do them, it adds up and makes a difference. It will mean that my ice won't melt so fast. It will mean that I can keep hold of my magic, helping to protect the epic landscapes, the emptiness, and the life. Champions of Antarctica, let's create a world where we can all remember to care, to work together, to make more magical memories for my future and for yours. I am your Antarctica.
Wasn't that special, everybody? It's not every day you hear from Antarctica herself. I'm going to say goodbye now before Katie wraps up this very special assembly. But like I said before, we'd love you all to become champions of Antarctica. You can view all our incredible films about the frozen continent on 2041school.com. And please keep in touch. We love hearing from all our champions about the work that they're doing to help protect Antarctica. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Jenny. Wasn't that absolutely incredible?
Really.
And I've loved reading all of your comments and all of your questions. And what an incredible part of history that we have all made together. So thank you so much to everybody who joined us today. And I was just in awe the whole way through. So thank you so much. And it was our absolute pleasure to be able to host that for the 2041 charity. And to have Rob Swan as well, who was absolutely fantastic. We'll end the session here, but thank you so much, everybody. And we will keep in touch with you and we'll send all of the information so you can go on and find out more. There's a lot of information on the 2041 site. I'm sure Jenny will share after the session as well for you. But thank you so much once again to everybody for joining us. It's been wonderful. And we will send you an estimation of the number of children we estimate joined us today, because I know we've had a lot of people as well watching on YouTube live. So hello if you're joining us from there. But thank you once again, everybody, and we'll end the session here. A huge thank you for joining us, and thank you again, Jenny.
No pleasure. Thank you, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.